You can now create thumbnails with Ask YouTube Studio. When I logged in to my YouTube Studio dashboard this morning and went into Ask Studio so that we can just have our Sunday session, I was surprised at one of the questions that I saw because it wasn't something that I'd ever seen before, and that was, would you like for me to generate you a thumbnail? You see, up until now, YouTube Studio and Ask YouTube Studio has just been kind of like my page strategy partner. So I instantly clicked on the generate a thumbnail question without even setting up the record session, because at that time, I wasn't even thinking that this was something that would make a great concept for a video. I was just thinking, I really need to see what this feature does. And after a couple of minutes, it kicked me back what I thought was a pretty impressive thumbnail. So I instantly implemented the upload of that thumbnail to my page. So it was after I uploaded the thumbnail that I thought, oh my goodness, you should have recorded this because this would make a really good video. And the takeover crew, they are going to want to see this feature in action. So I tried to replicate it and I went back into YouTube Studio, Ask YouTube Studio, and I'm going to show you here on the screen the message and the thumbnail that I got back when I replicated it. And you guys will see also that it doesn't instantly kick back a thumbnail. It takes time to actually think about it. I think it's a little bit slower than ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini, but I also think that for this being the very first thumbnail that YouTube has ever generated on behalf of my page, it did a really good job. And actually, when it came to me trying to replicate that same scenario, the thumbnail that it came back with in scenario number 2 was even better. And I haven't implemented that thumbnail yet because I want to give the first thumbnail just a little bit of time in the algorithm to see if that thumbnail change will help to just pick up the impressions on the video. But if you guys know anything about me, once I started asking myself that question and I saw that it could generate really good thumbnails, well, that led me down a rabbit hole of asking Ask Studio a whole bunch of questions that I'd never asked it before. So for good measure, I wanted to make sure that I was testing a lot of titles and a lot of thumbnails. So the next video that I settled upon was my niche bending video that I did for Nordstrom Rack. And this one actually surprised me because based on Ask YouTube Studio, it told me that the thumbnail was exactly where it needed to be, but that the title might not be driving awareness or driving the impressions. And it told me to just leave the thumbnail alone and go ahead and just only work with the title at this time. And I thought that it was, well, kind of enlightening that even so early on to me utilizing the tool, that it was that engaged with my channel already, that it was like, hey, no, let's just try this first before we jump all in to generating a new thumbnail. So now that I had put Ask Studio to the test with 2 thumbnails, I wanted to take that test a little bit further. So what I did was I went through my content and I found the next video that I know really needed help. It had a really good average view duration. Well, not really good, but a decent average view duration. But the thumbnails and the impressions, the click-through rate on that video still weren't very good. So I wanted to see if Ask YouTube Studio could help me out with that video. Because generally, and you guys know, I've been utilizing Ask YouTube Studio to get my video concepts. But generally, once I get an idea out of YouTube Studio, what I would do is I would go into Gemini or ChatGPT or Claude in order to kind of to develop that idea. And I guess my reasonings for that was I felt like because those platforms are platforms that I'm paying for, that the information that I would get from those platforms would be a little bit better. But after today's test with YouTube Studio, I don't know if that is necessarily the case anymore. So, after perusing through my content, the video that I decided to ask YouTube Studio to help me out with was the one that I did about is your channel healthy and the 3 metrics to check to make sure that your YouTube channel is healthy. So I went ahead and copied and pasted the title for that particular video into my Ask Studio. And I asked Ask Studio to help me reestablish a new thumbnail and a new title for the video. And I told it that those were the things that I think were the pain points for this particular video because it has a really good average view duration, but the impressions on the video are low and the click-through rate on the video are low. And those are both signals that generally the thumbnail and the title are not working. So Ask YouTube Studio basically agreed with it, and it gave me back 2 different concepts of different thumbnail ideas as well as different title ideas. And I'm sharing that conversation with you guys here on the screen. That way you can see both of the titles and the thumbnails. And it broke it down for me with the reasonings why they generated those 2 thumbnails and generated those 2 titles. And because both of them, in my eyes, were really good, I didn't know which one to use. So I asked YouTube Studio the next best question. Well, they're both really good. So which one should I start with? And YouTube Studio told me which one to start with, and it also even gave me a timeline of how long I should test that title and thumbnail, which I thought was pretty cool because I honestly thought that it was going to ask me to do or tell me to do the A/B testing on the thumbnail. So I was really surprised that it didn't. Now, when I'm talking about going all in, when regenerating this thumbnail for this particular video, when I was uploading it, it made me start to think of all different questions like, what about the description? What about the chapters? What about the details? So on this particular video, I decided to run a test and I utilized the information that Ask YouTube Studio gave me in order to update the details along with the chapters. Besides just the thumbnail and the title. So what I did was I just copied and pasted the current description into Ask YouTube Studio and asked for it to just kind of give it a once over and let me know if it needed to be updated. And it basically told me that everything is kind of looking good, but since we did update the title and the thumbnail, that we should go ahead and update the first sentence of the description. And now we're just going to test it. We're going to give it a little bit of time in order for YouTube and the algorithm to kind of just re-update the information and relearn the information about this video. And you guys know me. I will be back with an update, whether it be through a video or a community post, to let you guys know what my findings were. I'm really impressed by the Ask YouTube Studio thumbnail feature. And it's funny because I was kind of mulling around if I even wanted to talk about this feature because I see that for the most part, everyone is talking about the ability for you to be able to add a thumbnail to the shorts. And you guys know, I haven't 100% figured out this long game when it comes to YouTube Shorts. But I am excited about this particular feature in YouTube Studio and Ask YouTube Studio. Now, I would say for me, one of the biggest limitations, and maybe this is just me not knowing better, so I'm going to say it. But I think that one of the most biggest limitations with Ask YouTube Studio is that I am so used to just talking to ChatGPT and to Claude and to Gemini, like verbally. I'm used to just talking to them. And with Ask YouTube Studio, I haven't found a way that there's like a voice feature to where I can just dictate through my voice what I want for it to do and use voice prompts the way that I can with my other AI search engines. And with that, I don't think that I'm being as descriptive with Ask YouTube Studio as I could be. Now, I can go the extra step of talking into one of my other AI search engines and then just kind of copying and pasting that text into YouTube Studio. But I would say that that would be the next big implementation as far as feature wise that I would be looking for YouTube to implement into Ask YouTube Studio. I want to be able to talk to it. Another really good thing about Ask YouTube Studio is it's 100% fully connected and dialed into your page already. It's built especially for you and surrounding your content solely. When it comes to using the other AI search engines as kind of your partner or your strategist partner surrounding YouTube, you always have to take the extra step of downloading your analytics and putting it into those search engines in order for it to analyze your channel. As to where with Ask YouTube Studio, its main job is 100% to know about your channel and to talk to you and to strategize to you about your channel. Literally, I was talking to my girl Jay and I was telling her about the power of Ask YouTube Studio. And when I was getting ready to create my voice reply video, I didn't actually remember the video that the content creator had left that question for me to create a video about the voice reply feature. And so rather than driving myself batty trying to go through all of my content to find that one particular comment, I went to Ask YouTube Studio and Ask Studio because I know that it is directly tied into my comments. And I asked it, I said, hey, I'm looking for this particular comment that a subscriber left on a video because I want to record a video about it and I want to include it in the video. So I need help finding that comment. Can you find the comment and find the video that it was posted on? And in a couple of seconds, Ask YouTube Studio was able to point me into the right direction. So Ask YouTube Studio is a very, very powerful tool when it comes to strategizing and learning what you need to do in order to grow your channel. See, there's only so many suggestions that I can give you about the things that I am doing for my channel in order for me to grow it. Some of these things are actually going to take for you to go into YouTube Studio for yourself from a desktop and start asking YouTube Studio these questions. And as Ask Studio is getting more powerful, it's definitely going to make me question some of the subscription services and plans that I have set up with the other AI strategists. Because as YouTube Studio starts to get more powerful, why would I go outside of it? Because it's giving me information that's pertinent to my channel. Now, yeah, Claude, ask, what is it? Claude, Chat GPT, and Gemini, they are fantastic tools, and I use them more and more every day. But the new features that Ask YouTube Studio and YouTube are starting to implement, well, they're really game changers. And those thumbnails, they don't look like they were created with AI. Because here lately, I am able to look at people's thumbnails and I can pretty much tell which AI search engine they made them with. And with this one, I felt like it kept me looking more authentic, even though the poses that were put on the thumbnail were not poses that I necessarily did. So I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Are you going to start using more Ask YouTube Studio in order to generate your thumbnails? And what do you think about the thumbnails that Ask YouTube Studio generated for me? Do you think that they're pretty good? Would you have used them? Or do you think, nah? And what about all of the additional context and feedback that Ask YouTube Studio gave me without me even requesting it? Did that help you to get additional questions stirred up in your mind about how you can use YouTube Studio in order to help you increase your views by just simply updating your thumbnails, updating your titles, and updating your descriptions? My name is Tiff. This is my take. Be blessed, have a blessed day, and most importantly, do what you can in order to bless someone else's day.